how do you prepare for a future meal that you're going to cook? You probably find a great recipe on Pinterest, make your grocery list, go to the store, pick out your items, wash, cut, prepare dinner, and boom, by a certain time. There you go, right? Well, just like how you have to prepare to make dinner, you can also prepare to have a difficult conversation. So, how do we prepare to have a difficult conversation? We actually have a lot to learn by a woman in the Bible named Esther. Let me really quickly tell you about Esther, because first of all, Esther was bomb, okay? Esther was queen. And when she was queen, there was a decree that went out by the king's right-hand man that said all the Jews should be killed. Well, Esther was a Jew, which meant that she feared for her life, her family's life, and the life of her people, and she had a choice. Because she knew, I have to have a very difficult conversation with the king, AKA my husband, because he actually doesn't even know that I'm a Jew. So she could choose, okay, either I'm not gonna say anything because I'm scared, or I need to say something, and I need to do it in the best way possible. So Esther put together a strategy and a plan, and she prepared. And when she executed it, not only did she save all of the Jews, but you know what the king decided to do? He decided to kill his right-hand man who sent out that decree, and his whole estate went to Esther. So let's learn from this amazing woman, right? What Esther did is her strategic approach on preparing to have a difficult conversation included two things. Number one, you need to ask a question 3 times to the other person. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you have to have a really hard conversation with your friend Mary. So the first question might go something like this. You'd say, hey, Mary, let me ask you something. If I saw something that I knew was holding you from everything you were meant to be, would you want me to tell you? Most of the time who you're talking to will say, yeah, yeah, of course, what is it? And if the person says no, then unfortunately, they're just not ready. But let's assume that Mary's like, yeah, what is it? Then you ask a second question. And that question is, are you sure you want me to tell you, because what I have to say might hurt your feelings, and I don't want to do that. That's the second question. Again, let's assume that Mary goes, no, it's okay. Like, tell me, what do you have to say to me? Then you ask a third question. And that third question is, are you sure you want me to tell you? By now, Mary is, her mind is open and she is itching at the seams to know what you have to say to her, right? So that's the first step. You ask a question 3 times. So step number 2, once the person says yes 3 times that they are open and willing to have a conversation with you, you actually set up a later date in a couple days to meet in person to have that conversation. Now, why do you want to meet up later in a couple days? 2 reasons. Number 1, it helps you to still prepare the things that you need to say, but also by that time, the person is going to be thinking that the issue is this big, when in reality, it's probably this big. So it helps the other person to be in a different mindset so that when you speak to them, it comes off in a much better way. So ladies, your challenge this week is, if you have a difficult conversation that you have to have with somebody, prepare in those 2 ways that we learned from Esther.